The first one, the graph shows the stopping potential V0 varies linearly with the frequency of the incident radiation for a given photosensitive material. So the first one, okay, I will explain, then you can later on you can write in your own language. Okay, the first one, he says that this is the graph. Okay, suppose this is the graph. So what is this? So this is for metal A, and this is V0, the stopping potential versus frequency of incident radiation, right? This is nu zero. This is threshold frequency. This is the threshold frequency. Now, what he says, the first point. So the stopping potential V0 varies linearly with the frequency of incident radiation for a given photosensitive material. For a particular material. Okay. So, one second. So we can expect, because it is more theoretical, we can expect a theoretical question from this. Okay. So now the first point, he says that we have frequency versus stopping potential. This is the fourth graph. So he says that for a particular metal, it is linearly increasing. The variation is linear. Okay, as the frequency increases, stopping potential is also increasing linearly for a particular metal. This is the first point. For a particular metal, let it be metal A. Like that we have for metal B also. The second point, it says that there exists a certain minimum cutoff frequency in mu0 for which the stopping potential is 0. Then what is this frequency called? This frequency is called threshold frequency. Okay, this frequency is called threshold frequency or cutoff frequency. Okay. Next one, these observations have two implications. The maximum kinetic energy of the photoelectrons varies linearly with the frequency of the incident radiation. So we have the formula, right? Half A is equal to what? Half mv square. But he says that it varies linearly with the kinetic energy of the photoelectron varies linearly with the frequency of the incident radiation. Frequency of the incident radiation means what? So he says that kinetic energy increases, like kinetic energy increases with the frequency of incident radiation. Understood now? Not only this, this also varies. The frequency is increasing, its kinetic energy also increases linearly. Okay, I will give this, you can write in your own words. Okay, later on. Now next one is what? For a frequency nu of incident radiation lower than the cutoff frequency nu0, no photoelectric emission is possible even the intensity is large. Even though you increase the intensity, suppose if nu is less than nu0, then also even though intensity is increasing, even intensity increases, no photoelectric current. Okay, no photo current. Is that clear? Yeah. No photo current or photoelectric current is not possible. Okay, is it clear? Next one. After that, so the minimum cutoff frequency in nu0 is called threshold frequency. That already we know about it. Next, we have summarized the experimental features and observations described in this section. There are again 3 points here. 4 points. For a given photosensitive material and frequency of incident radiation above the threshold frequency, the photoelectric current is directly proportional to the intensity of incident light. This is the first one. Oh yeah. The first graph. Is the first graph. He says that what is that? This is the graph. What is that? Yeah. As the frequency increases, photocurrent also increases. I is photocurrent, okay, photoelectric current. But the condition is what? Above the threshold frequency only. The next one. Next is for a given photosensitive material and frequency of incident radiation, saturation current is found to be proportional to the intensity of incident light, whereas stopping potential is independent of the intensity. Yeah. What is the meaning of this?
Stopping potential depends on the
frequency. Not the intensity. Okay.
Whereas saturation current depends on the intensity.
Yeah. So that means the saturation current. Can I write I max?
Yeah.
I max is the saturation current. Saturation current is proportional to what? Intensity, right? It is proportional to intensity. And the second one, stopping potential is dependent on frequency. Yeah, it is proportional to the frequency. Next one. For a given photosensitive material, there exists a certain minimum cutoff frequency of the incident radiation called the threshold frequency, below which no emission of photoelectrons take place, no matter how intense the incident light is.
So that also depends on
Same. So above the threshold frequency, the stopping potential are equivalently the maximum kinetic energy of the emitted photoelectron increases linearly with the frequency of the incident radiation, but is independent of its intensity. It's the same thing. Now the photoelectric emission is an instantaneous process without any apparent time lag. Means what? Quickly. Means that the moment the light incidents, the same time the electron comes out. So the time lag is how much? 10 to the power of minus 9 seconds. It happens within a nanosecond.
For all frequencies,
Yeah, for all the frequencies. Yeah. Above, for any frequency above
the
threshold.
above the threshold frequency. Even when the incident radiation is made exceedingly dim. See, even the incident, but if it is just above the threshold frequency, no problem. Then it starts working. Next is photoelectric effect and wave theory. This is not there in the syllabus. Okay. This is photoelectric, instance photoelectric equation energy quantum of radiation that we already discussed yesterday. Okay, so we already know once again. See here. He says that h nu is equal to what? H nu is equal to phi 0 plus maximum kinetic energy. So this also can be written as maximum kinetic energy equal to h nu minus phi 0. This is the equation. The second equation, he says that if h nu is greater than phi 0, if h nu is greater than phi 0, then only the photoelectric emission takes place, right?
Yeah.
What is phi 0 here? Phi 0 is the work function.
Yeah.
Okay. So nu is greater than mu 0. Here mu is greater than mu 0. So mu 0 is equal to what? Mu 0 equal to phi 0 by h. Mu 0 equal to phi 0 by h. Okay. Now, so now in Einstein's picture we have what? So E0 is equal to, so E into, so we are writing here E into V0 equal to what? Instead of writing kinetic energy, we are writing E into V0 equal to h nu minus
h nu minus
phi 0. Okay, h nu minus phi 0. So we are writing V0 is equal to what? V0 is equal to h by E into nu minus phi 0 by E. Okay, so this is the slope and this is the y-intercept. Okay, so that is how it was explained. Now the particle nature of light, the photons. So according to this, Einstein continued with the explanation of continued with the explanation of Max Planck. Max Planck supported the particle nature. Okay, Max Planck, he supported the particle nature of light. Then Albert Einstein went ahead with that one. Max Planck said that light travels in the form of quanta. Quanta means small energy packets. Small energy packets. He wanted to go with the same explanation. He later on named it as photons. Light travels in the form of photons. Means he supported the particle nature of light. As I told you, there are two group of scientists. One supported the particle nature, one supported the wave nature. In particle nature, we have Newton, we have Max Planck, we have Einstein. There are many more scientists who supported the particle nature. But there are some scientists who supported the wave nature also. Like Huygens is there, Young is there. Like that, many scientists who supported the wave nature experimentally, not just like that. Okay. So now he says that Compton is also one who supported the wave nature. Compton effect. Compton. So sorry, he also supported the particle nature, not the wave nature. Okay, he also got the Nobel Prize for the scattering of X-rays from electrons. Now, what are his outputs? See here, in interaction of radiation with matter, radiation behaves as if it is made up of particles called photons. Number one, each photon has an energy E equal to h nu and momentum P is equal to hc by lambda. The second one, the same, he is speaking about E is equal to hc by lambda. Okay, but anyways, we don't have a Compton effect. This is related to Compton effect. Okay, we'll go ahead. Now, the wave nature of matter. Okay, we'll go with de Broglie. explanation.
It
The last topic of this lesson. Then we can do some numerical based on this. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Later on, you will write that points. Okay, the summary points in your notebook. Here, this one.
Oh,
On
of the
this.
graph.
Of this. Okay, I'll give that test book. Already just write just in the points. Okay. Okay. Already we know that, but he put it in the points. The same thing. Now, no, de Broglie wavelength. Okay. What is it? De Broglie wave nature of matter. Sorry. Wave nature of matter. Wave nature of matter. So in this wave nature of matter, he says that, see, de Broglie, de Broglie was a scientist. He was one, he was from France. I think. He was a French scientist. Yeah, somewhere from France. This man, what he did, actually there were a group of scientists who supported the wave nature and particle nature, right? So this man, he wanted to show that the light has both, radiation has both dual nature. Radiation has dual nature. Dual nature. What is the dual nature? That means it has both.
Particle and
Yeah, it has
wave.
both particle and wave. Both particle and wave. Wave nature. Okay. Both particle and wave nature. So he was working on this particular area. Then what happened is, then he wrote the thesis. Means in PhD we have to write thesis. The book. It was presented to the university professors or the scientists in that university. Actually, they wanted to reject the thesis because this is our first of that time. See, presenting only particle nature is a different thing.
Yeah.
Presenting only a wave nature, it is a different thing. Okay.
Presented together.
But presenting together, that means it is having dual nature, was not accepted. So they want to reject the thesis. This who the professors wanted to reject the thesis. When they want to reject the thesis, then what they did, they wrote a letter to Albert Einstein, who was in London at that time. Then, writing that, please find out a reason. You cannot reject the thesis just like that. There should be a strong reason. If it cannot be accepted, the thesis also just like that. There should be a strong reason. Generally, for thesis to be accepted, there is a condition. Means so and so number of research papers should be printed in the journals. Like there will be international journals will be there. So you need to publish your paper in those journals. Then only that means your work is already printed. Means published work. Then easily accepted. That means there is already evidence. So the paper only will not get just published just like that. Suppose I want to publish a paper, it won't be published just like that. There is again, for every journal, there is a group of scientists again. They will carefully read that line to line and find out exactly was it done properly, experimentally or not. So then he wrote they wanted to find out a reason to reject. Then Albert Einstein wrote in the reply, if suppose de Broglie proved this dual nature is right, then we all will become fools. So he just sent the thesis to me, let me read that. He went through the thesis, Albert Einstein, then he said that award him the PhD. On the same thesis, he got the Nobel Prize. The same topic, dual nature of matter and radiation. There is a topic actually. There is a title on which he got the Nobel Prize. Okay, dual nature of matter and radiation. On the same title, he got the Nobel Prize in 1927. Okay, what exactly he did? He said that every particle is associated with a wave. Every particle in the universe is associated with a wave. Okay, and that wave is having a wavelength lambda. As a person, every person is having a character, right? A habit. Okay, it's having certain habits or characters. So the same way, every particle is having a wave. Okay, wave nature. So that is given by what? Lambda is equal to h by p, which is also h by mv. Okay, h by mv. What is the relation between momentum and kinetic energy? P is equal to under root of 2me, right? 2me. So E is the kinetic energy. So I can write here h by under root of 2me. Okay, this also can be written as h by under root of 2m E into capital B. B is what? Potential difference. Or it is also written as, if it is electron, 1.22 by root V angstroms. He calculated for electron also. If it was electron, directly this is the formula. Just substitute the value, you will get the answer. Okay. So this is only very important equation. If you can remember this one, definitely a 2-marker question comes. No doubt about it. There cannot be present over before this. Okay. And okay, we have what is that? Nu is equal to C is equal to nu lambda. You can also sometimes you can use this also. C is equal to nu lambda, because sometimes you will not give like you will not be giving some value. So you can use this value, nu is equal to C by lambda, and substitute the values. Okay. Yeah. Now one more thing. That is this is only for electron. Okay, keep that in the mind. This is not for everyone. This is only for electron. I'll write it here. This is for electron. We found out only for electron. Like that, we can find out for proton also. That's not a problem. Now, but now, yeah, 1.22 nanometer. Okay, 1.22. Okay, why we are given 1.22 nanometers? We are given not angstroms. 50 angstroms. But in the respect we give nanometer, right? And go ahead with the pointer. Give 1.22, not angstroms, we give nanometer. Okay. Now, okay, so this is the equation. Okay. And one more thing also. Okay, and also there is an uncertainty principle. What is that? Heisenberg uncertainty principle. You know the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. What it says? You studied in grade 11. Heisenberg uncertainty principle. So it says that it is impossible to find out the position and momentum of a particle. Okay, it's impossible to find out the position and momentum of the particle. By the time you find out the momentum, the electron is moving from that point.
Yeah.
So it is better you find out the change in position into change in momentum. Change in position into change in momentum. We keep two. Suppose this is the nucleus and this is the electron. We keep two microscopes here. Example, just I am giving example. Like we keep two microscopes. Okay, two microscopes here, and then we want to find out. So we will find out once the electron moves from here and the time here. Then we get the displacement, right? And all distance, displacement, and then momentum also we can find out. Change in displacement into change in momentum equal to what? H cut or H cut means or H by 2 pi. Okay, H cut is equal to what? H by 2 pi. This is the formula for it. Okay. Yeah, this is studied in grade 11 chemistry. It is there. Delta, that is delta X into delta V equal to H cut. H cut is equal to H by 2 pi. Yeah. So that completes. Okay, now exactly what he did exactly. 1.22 nanometer. Okay. Now, how did he do this experiment actually? Can you tell any idea? Any idea how did they do this experiment? How was he able to prove this? Actually, when he did this experiment, some papers were being published in journals. So Davis in Germany. I think there was some other country, not the same France. So he joined with them. You know, you in chemistry you might have studied about the line spectra and band spectra.
Yeah.
Continuous spectra, discontinuous spectra. Okay, just I would like to. Can you tell what is spectra actually? In your own words. Spectrum is what? Spectrum.
Like a range. The range of particular.
Yeah. Spectrum. No?
The continuous and discontinuous, no?
Yeah, whatever it is. How do you define spectra in your own words? How do you define spectrum? Spectra. Okay, that we have like this.
Particular range of frequencies.
That is range of frequencies is bandwidth.
Oh,
Spectra again we have classification like continuous and discontinuous is there.
Yeah.
Okay, that is later on we will do that. Okay, continuous we have, discontinuous we have. Yeah, again after discontinuous we have line and band. Okay. Line spectrum, band spectrum like that we have. It explains the characteristic of a it explains the characteristic of an atom, like a character. You want to
Oh.
study the character of a person. The same way, it gives it explains the character of an atom. Okay, what is the behavior? Example, I give you a person 99 dirhams. Okay, 99 dirhams. I just tell please pass on to my friend. So what he does, okay, he needs a change. He keeps that change with him and he uses a 100 dirham note to the other friend. That is one way. Again, I have given 101 dirham to my friend and I told him to give it to some other person. What he did, he kept that 1 dirham. Okay, on the way he wants to have a cup of tea he had and he gave that 100 to him. They're two different, yeah. One he paid from his pocket, the other one he took from that one. Absorption and emission is same. Absorption spectra and emission spectra is same. Absorption means it absorbed 1 dirham.
Yeah.
Emission he gave 1
Gave
dirham.
one.
Understood? When the light is incident, like in atoms, when we discuss about this, we have source, sample, and detector. Only we need three. Everywhere, in every phenomena, we know source, sample, and detector. Source, it can be anything. Like suppose I'm going to take X-ray. The X-ray is the source, and myself is the sample, and detector is what my X-ray sheet. Blood also, if I want to find out the blood some property, the source is the machine and the sample is the blood and the detector is what? Detector is what? The reading,
Test,
whatever it
yeah,
gives, the test results. The same way, MRI also, the source is the powerful magnetic field, sample is the human being and the detector is the film or the readings what we get. So every way this, in medical sciences or in research work, everywhere we have source, sample and detector. Clear? So then after that, okay, now actually this Davidson and Germer were doing some experiment. In that experiment, in that experiment, they found out, like suppose continuous spectrum is, have you seen rainbow?
Yeah.
Okay, rainbow is the best example. It's not a continuous spectrum, but I'm just telling. There's that we can say what type of continuous spectrum. Continuous means like you cannot exactly define where the first color will end and where the second color is starting. Did you see the rainbow carefully? Anytime? Not here. Maybe in India only you can see.
Yeah.
So it comes after the rain. Okay, the dewdrops are present in the air and the sunlight is exactly opposite to that. Then you can see the rain. Oh, sorry, sunrise should fall onto this one. Then you can see the rain. Now you cannot exactly define where the first color will end and the second color will start. That happens in continuous spectra. In discontinuous spectra, we have line and band. Line means it has fine lines it has very fine lines like this. Okay, and band spectra means it has bands in it, like this, thick bands.
Yeah.
Okay, it has thick bands like this. Now when they were doing this experiment, Davidson and Germer and he joined with them. Now he says this lines, when I say these lines are only formed due to the wave nature, not the particle nature.
Oh.
If it was particle nature, then it should be like this, right?
Oh yeah, it will be
Dots, all dots.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it is a particle nature, it should be dots, right?
Yeah.
If it is wave nature, then only you'll get that lines.
Okay,
Then what they did, these fellows, like when he said, okay, this is only possible due to the wave nature.
Okay.
If it is like this, it's particle nature.
Yeah.
Then they scanned that, they resolved that one line. When they resolved that one line, in that one line, they found so many dots very close to each other.
So that one line was just composed of dots.
This one line is composed of so many particle nature. Understood now?
Okay. So they're saying that the wave is made of particles.
That's what. That means that is I mean radiation is
Yeah.
having dual nature. It has
Yeah.
particle nature as well as where
Radiation.
this thing proves. Who made this? The Davis and Germer along with de Broglie. They
Broglie.
proved this experiment experimentally. Understood now? So this was a very great achievement in the in the sciences, okay, in the physics. Okay, so this is somewhere in the A level book, not in your book. So this was explained over there. So Cambridge curriculum is there over there. Okay, so very nicely it was explained over there. Now, so that completes your lesson. Okay, so line and band. This again I will explain in where in atoms.
Atoms, yeah.
Actually, the
because
thing is, students are not having idea of spectrum. In chemistry, they study. They know absorption spectra, emission spectra. They can define
Yeah.
it. They can write it, but they don't know exactly what happened. Line means fine lines will be there. Bands means thick bands will be there. Continuous means it cannot differentiate.
differentiate.
Again,
yes.
above this there is one more. That is what absorption and emission spectra. When white light is given to that atom or the sample, like on the screen, sometimes you'll get two colors less than that. These two colors are
Ah,
missing.
Yeah.
That's absorption.
No, that's absorption spectrum.
Yeah.
Okay, or you just excite just sometimes you excite the sample, then it gives out the radiation that is said to be emission spectrum. Understood? That is recorded on the photographic plate and that is red. That is said to be what do you call? I mean emission spectra. Understood? So this is actually spectrum. Understood? In medical sciences, what we do is a spectra, simple form of spectra. In any spectroscopy technique, say source, sample, and detector will be there. Understood now? So when we will study this in detail, okay, in the atoms chapter. Okay, so Davis German now because of this only, because of this Davis German experiment only, we are having powerful microscopes. Powerful. What are the powerful microscopes in the world now? As of now, we have SEM and TEM. SEM and TEM means scanning electron microscope and transmission electron microscope and confocal microscope. Okay, microscope. So what are they? So in this one, this can some maybe more than 10,000 times it can magnify, or 1 lakh times, or more than that also. Yeah, the cost of this in India at that time was 2 crore Indian rupees. I am speaking around 2005, sorry, 8 something. The cost of this was 2 crore Indian rupees. Now it may be more than that. So you can understand. So you are not supposed to go inside. It's like a big thing, and there will be technicians will be there. Just you have to give the sample. They will give the result. You are not going to touch anything. Fine alignments will be there in that. So you are not going to go and enter that room also. They are doing it. In this SEM and TEM, they are using electrons actually. Instead of using light, they are using electrons. Cause the beam of electrons they are using. And that is why they named as scanning electron microscope, transmission electron microscope. Understood now? Clear? So that is how it is named. So they can million times they can magnify the image. Okay, so this is generally used for biological samples, or to study quantum physics also we use this. Okay, clear? So this completes your lesson. Direction German is not there. Anyway, I have explained what is that, what they have done. Okay, that experiment is there, yeah, Direction German. So they proved it particle nature and dual. That is dual nature of matter and radiation using this particular concept. Understood now? But the main person was de Broglie who started this theory, who started the explanation of dual nature. Understood? Because of the dual nature only, today we have powerful microscopes. Understood now? Today we have, instead of light, we went through electron also because of the reason. Okay, and we also are able to explain the spectra because of de Broglie. Understood? Everyone has done their own contribution. Okay. We'll stop here and then you start with the numericals now. Okay. So